Hello everyone. Brothers and sisters everywhere in the world. Indeed we are Jehovah's Witnesses and speak fearlessly standing up for the truth. My name is Son of Thunder and I am your host. I welcome you to the first episode of this series called, Jehovah's Witnesses, a people called by his name. I am a baptized Jehovah's Witness and I am 100% convinced that Jehovah is using us as an organization. There is no any other true Christian religion other than us. Someone might ask, how can I be so sure? To be a Christian means that you are a follower of Christ, hence the name Christians. If one is a follower of Christ, it means that we obey the commandments of Christ, otherwise we are not his followers, as the name suggests, Christians. In Matthew chapter 22 verses 36 to 40, he was asked by his disciples, they asked,
Teacher, which is the greatest commandment in the law? He said to him, You must love Jehovah your God with your whole heart and with your whole soul and with your whole mind. This is the greatest and first commandment. The second, like it, is this, you must love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments the whole law hangs, and the prophets.
Today, only Jehovah's Witnesses can safely say they love Jehovah and our neighbors as Jesus Christ commanded. History reveals that only Jehovah's Witnesses fought for the name of our God, namely Jehovah. Also history reveals that we did not take part in war out of respect of our neighbors and also worldwide brotherhood, while other self-professed Christian religions took up arms and went to war only to kill their neighbors and brothers from the opposing country. 1 John chapter 2 verses 9 to 11 says,
The one who says that he is in the light and yet hates his brother is still in the darkness. The one who loves his brother remains in the light, and in him there is no cause for stumbling. But the one who hates his brother is in the darkness and is walking in the darkness, and he does not know where he is going, because the darkness has blinded his eyes.
So, other religious groups that claim to be Christians and yet they hate their brothers and sisters, they are basically false Christians, for they do not obey Jesus Christ's command. During World War I and II as well as the Cold War, Jehovah's Witnesses never took up arms, whereas other Christian groups took up arms and they still continuing to do. History reveals that Jehovah's Witnesses are the true Christian religion and no other Christian group. That is how I know and also am convinced that we, Jehovah's Witnesses, are the true religion and that we are being used by Jehovah in his grand plan. That is why proudly we sing this song.
Once with confusion our sad hearts were filled, drinking the cup false religion distilled. But with what happiness our hearts were thrilled, when of God's kingdom we heard. Take sides with Jehovah, make him your delight. He'll never forsake you. Walk on in his light. Tell the glad tidings of freedom and peace. His rule by Christ Jesus will ever increase. Now we're rejoicing in serving our God, spreading the seeds of his truth all abroad, helping our brothers God's virtues to laud, praising his great worthy name. Take sides with Jehovah, make him your delight. He'll never forsake you. Walk on in his light. Tell the glad tidings of freedom and peace. His rule by Christ Jesus will ever increase. We will not fear what the devil can do. Trusting Jehovah will carry us through. Though they are many and though we are few, God is our strength and our might. Take sides with Jehovah, make him your delight. He'll never forsake you. Walk on in his light. Tell the glad tidings of freedom and peace.
What a song is it? Beautiful. Now that we have found the true religion, it does not mean that we get comfortable and relax and think we have made it. The Apostle Paul warned us about that. He said in Ephesians 5 verse 15-18.
So keep strict watch that how you walk is not as unwise but as wise persons, buying out the opportune time for yourselves, because the days are wicked. On this account cease becoming unreasonable, but go on perceiving what the will of Jehovah is. Also, do not be getting drunk with wine, in which there is debauchery, but keep getting filled with Spirit.
Paul was talking to Christians already in this verse, so we're supposed to go on perceiving what the will of Jehovah is. Even though we have found the right Christian group, we have to keep at it. The truth is worth more than gold and silver. But Jehovah through the King Solomon says to us,
My son, if you accept my sayings and treasure up my commandments, by making your ear attentive to wisdom and inclining your heart to discernment, moreover, if you call out for understanding and raise your voice for discernment, if you keep seeking for it as for silver, and you keep searching for it as for hidden treasures, then you will understand the fear of Jehovah, and you will find the knowledge of God, for Jehovah himself gives wisdom, from his mouth come knowledge and discernment.
We can gain understanding of Jehovah's sayings through the help of other Jehovah's servants, but ultimately we have to treasure Jehovah's commandments ourselves. If we start letting our guard down and believe everything others tell us at face value, then that means we no longer treasure Jehovah's sayings. Hence in Proverb 14 verse 15 says,
The naive person believes every word, but the shrewd one ponders each step.
The Bible gives us a lot of exhortations, like children to listen to parents, slaves to the masters, and to be obedient to authorities, as long as whatever they ask us to do is in line with what the Bible is saying. Hence Paul's word in Ephesians, that we need to buy opportune time for yourselves, and cease becoming unreasonable, but go on perceiving what the will of Jehovah is. If you do not buy time for yourself, then how will you be able to discern when your parents, masters and as well as authorities or the ones that are taking the lead, when they are asking you to do things that are not in harmony with Jehovah's word? Proverbs and Ephesians does not say that we should become rebels, but it tells us that there is always deception. When our leaders tell us that this is the will of Jehovah, we should not blindly believe everything they say, but to be actively perceiving if indeed what they are saying is the will of Jehovah or not. Jehovah always tells us not to trust in men, for two simple reasons. Men are easily corruptible. There is no guarantee that if a man is faithful to Jehovah today, then that will always be the case. And the second reason is that man is gullible by nature and is easily trusting. Here is an experiment to show how man can easily put his trust to even a stranger. This following experiment is called, Follow the Leader.
If you've learned a lot about leadership and making a movement, then let's watch a movement happen start to finish in under 3 minutes and dissect some lessons. First, of course, a leader needs the guts to stand alone and look ridiculous. But what he's doing is so simple, it's almost instructional. This is key. You must be easy to follow. Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. He publicly shows everyone else how to follow. Notice how the leader embraces him as an equal. So it's not about the leader anymore, it's about them, plural. Notice how he's calling to his friends to join in. So it takes guts to be a first follower. You stand out and you brave ridicule yourself. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader. If the leader is the flint, the first follower is the spark that really makes the fire. Now here's the second follower. This is a turning point. It's proof the first has done well. Now it's not a lone nut and it's not two nuts. 3 is a crowd and a crowd is news. A movement must be public. Make sure outsiders see more than just the leader. Everyone needs to see the followers because new followers emulate followers, not the leader. Now here come 2 more people, then 3 more immediately. Now we've got momentum. This is the tipping point and now we have a movement. As more people jump in, it's no longer risky. If they were on the fence before, there's no reason not to join in now. They won't stand out, They won't be ridiculed, and they will be part of the in crowd if they hurry. And over the next minute you'll see the rest who prefer to stay part of the crowd, because eventually they'd be ridiculed for not joining. And ladies and gentlemen, that is how a movement is made. So let's recap what we've learned. If you are a version of the shirtless dancing guy, all alone, remember the importance of nurturing your first few followers as equals, making everything clearly about the movement, not you. Be public, be easy to follow. But the biggest lesson here, did you catch it? Leadership is overglorified. Yes, it started with the shirtless guy, and he'll get all the credit, but you saw what really happened. It was the first follower that transformed a lone nut into a leader. There's no movement without the first follower. See, we're told that we all need to be leaders, but that would be really ineffective. The best way to make a movement, if you really care, is to courageously follow and show others how to follow. When you find a lone nut doing something great, have the guts to be the first person to stand up and join in.
Of course, you don't know any of these people you followed. So why would you value a complete stranger's opinion?
It's because your brain is hardwired to do so. There's safety in numbers, and whether it's thousands of years ago or today, your brain would rather go where other people are going rather than take the chance of going it alone. Your brain's decision-making center, the prefrontal cortex, has a direct line to the nucleus accumbens, an area responsible for positive rewards and social learning. Simply seeing someone else's choice activates that reward system and reinforces the decision to follow their lead.
But following along with the crowd doesn't always ensure that you'll make the best choice. Sometimes just following along can lead you astray. And when it comes to leading or misleading your brain, few people do it better than illusionist Marco Tempest. See if you can figure out what he's up to.
If it looks like rain, it's better to have an umbrella. Excuse me, would you mind if I borrow your umbrella for just a moment? I promise to give it right back. Okay? Now keep your eyes on the umbrella. Ready? 1, 2, and 3.
Did Marco just lead your brain astray? You clearly weren't seeing the full picture, so take another look.
1.
The question is, why did you miss Marco switching out the umbrellas?
3.
It's because your brain is so good at following along that it stitches together any missing details in order to present you with the most likely scenario. By misdirecting your brain, Marco was able to pull a fast one. So we've seen what can happen when we follow the leader, but is there a limit to how far people will go? To find out, we've designed a unique experiment in Las Vegas. We're setting up a sign and hiding our cameras. We're going to see if we can get people to wait in line for no reason at all. Think it'll work? After 15 minutes, nobody got in line. Seems like people would rather follow a trend than set one. So we've asked a conspirator to help us prime the pump a little by starting the line. Would the sight of just one person be enough to get you to join? What do you think other people will do? Will anyone actually get in line?
What's going on?
I was told to come in line, so I'm not sure, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh no, she didn't take the bait. As the minutes tick by, people are curious, but cautious. It looks like no one is going to join the line.
What's up, man?
How about these two?
I don't know what it's for. I think it could be something good, but
The line starts.
yeah, I just saw a sign. Yeah, come on, you'll be second, third people. Get in line.
Will they join the line even though they have no idea what they'd be waiting for? They're in. We've got them. And now that these two joined the line, the floodgates are open. People just can't resist joining in.
What is it?
Looks like it could be something fun.
Is it free?
Yeah, it's free.
And the longer the line got, the more others wanted to join. Remember, these people have no idea what they're waiting for.
What's this line for? I think it's an event or something.
All it took was one person, and now we've got a crowd of random strangers.
This phenomenon is known as informational social influence. and it occurs when you rely on others to determine your course of action. You're much more likely to use social influence when the situation is ambiguous, such as in a crisis, or when you're uncertain about what to do.
And as you can see, even without a clear reason for waiting,
There's no description, no nothing.
our line grew and grew and grew. It's time to get this show on the road.
Huh?
Where to exactly?
Are we moving?
Now that the line is moving, we wanted to see if people would follow along even though they had no idea where they were going. We're going to test the science of follow the leader with 3 unexpected obstacles. First, a dizzying maze.
Where are we going?
And even though the path makes no sense, no one is getting out of the line. Do you think these people will realize they're going nowhere fast? Looks like they're in it for good. Now for the next step, we put tape on the ground to see if people will jump over it just because they saw someone else do it. Think they will? Wow, a spinning jump. 3 points for style. Finally, we set up a hopscotch game and had our ringer do it. Will other people follow suit? Would you? All of these adults are playing this kids game because their brains want to follow the leader. So getting each of them to take a lay from an Elvis impersonator is a no-brainer. Now, for the final part of our Pied Piper experiment, do you think we can get them to dance in a conga line? By now, you probably know the answer. Absolutely yes. Remember, all this started with just one man waiting in line for nothing. 5 minutes ago, all these strangers were going about their business, and now they're all dancing together. While it might seem strange, it's actually what scientists would expect.
So we often use other people as a shortcut. We look to their behavior to figure out what the best thing is. Because if they're doing it, it's probably pretty good for us.
Just followed along, started dancing, joining in. It's mental. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It said the line's here, so we got in the line.
Remember, these people are happy to do all of these ridiculous things for no other reason than because the person in front of them is also doing it.
We was just doing it because everybody else was doing it. And when you're young, you're taught to follow the leader. So that was a game we played, so I followed the leader.
Like, what happened? Where's my brain? Where was my brain? Stop controlling me. Stop.
Now, we could tell these people they were part of an experiment about why their brain chose to follow the leader, but this is Vegas. Why ruin all the fun?
So, you walk into an elevator and naturally you turn and face the door, right? It's just what we do, without even thinking. Here on Would You Fall For That, we decided we had to pay homage to candid camera.
How this man tries to maintain his individuality.
So right now we are reenacting their famous test of conformity. The elevator experiment. So we found a nice elevator at the Juilliard School and gathered our Would You Fall For That stuff. If we turned to face the back of the elevator, would others follow? All right, in the blue t-shirt, that is Nadia. She is an innocent passerby. Has nothing to do with this. Everybody else in that elevator, they all work for Would You Fall For That. They are all in on the experiment. They are all purposefully facing the wrong way. Nadia is facing the front. You can just see the back of her head, wearing the blue t-shirt. That's Nadia. She is facing the front of the elevator like a normal human being. Everybody else is facing the back. We're playing this to you in real time, no editing, as it actually happened. Okay, floor 2. Rebecca gets off, Emily gets on. She also works for us. We're swapping people in and out to reinforce the behavior. Emily's acting like it's the most normal. Oh, Nadia's turned. Nadia, okay, her bag is slipping off her shoulder. She's nervously playing with it.
Yeah.
Nadia's now halfway round. Will she go any further? Emily gets off, Mike gets on. Again, Mike works for the show. presses his button, faces the back like it's the most normal thing in the world, like he does it every day. Nadia is really feeling the pressure right now.
I'm not going to see anyone else.
Isn't he also?
Scott's making some small talk.
He was in celebrity rehab, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
She's looking towards the back of the elevator because everybody else is. Floor 4.
I love the guy.
4th floor, Mike gets off. Lauren gets on. Lauren also works for us. She's in. Oh, and Nadia has gone. The 4th floor, Nadia has turned all the way around. She's looking at the back of the elevator. That is not normal human behavior. Nadia is looking at the back of the elevator purely because everybody else is. Okay, you've seen it in real time. Let's play that for you again in fast forward. Nadia, turning.
Did you notice anything while we were standing in the elevator? We were all facing one way, and we wanted to see if one person would do it, and you
did it, yeah. So you were wondering why. Yeah. But you just went along with it without even questioning.
Yeah.
Social scientists refer to this as the Ash paradigm, when a person's own opinions and actions are influenced by the majority of the group. The lady with the grey coat, she is a civilian. Everybody else in the elevator is on our team. That is Elizabeth. She's facing the front as she should, but she's looking around. She's noticed that everybody else is facing the back. She's looking around, wondering what's going on. This is a bit odd. Everybody else is acting like nothing strange is happening. Elizabeth is looking around like something very strange is happening. We're on the 2nd floor. She's slightly turned. She's turned. Look at her shoulders. She's not facing the front anymore. She's moved. Emily gets on. Again, she's with us. Presses her button. Elizabeth looks at her. Emily faces the back. Elizabeth is turning. Elizabeth is turning. She's pretending she's just looking around, but that's a cover. She's actually turning as well. All right, going again. Okay, that lady there with the grey pointing up, that's Karen. She's an innocent passerby, gets on. Everybody else is in on the experiment. She presses her button, immediately complies. She faces the back because everybody else is.
You walked in and you started facing the same direction we all were, right?
I actually thought that you all knew something that I didn't.
That's the crux. She bowed to the pressure of the group. Conform. But, you know, it doesn't work every time.
This is so weird that everyone is facing this way and I'm facing that way.
We're on floor 3 for anyone who can't see.
Is he being helpful or sarcastic? We're about to kick it up a notch. What if Scott played some music on his phone and gradually all of our staff in the elevator started to dance? Do people get down while they're going up? Okay, man in the hat, he's looking at his phone. He's got earbuds in. And here's another angle on our stranger. Who's gonna cave? Oh, his head's nodding, He's getting down. That did not take long. He has joined in the elevator dance party. Yep, there he goes. The shoulders are going now. He's getting into it. Head bobbing. Nice. He has joined in dancing because everybody else is. No rhyme, no reason, just moves.
One by one, seemed like everybody started to catch on, and I figured I like a good dance party. I'm not going to be the one standing on the wall and not dancing.
Would you fuck with that? Would you fuck with that?
That right there, social conformity. Thank you very much. So, would you have fallen for that, or do you think you're too clever?
Jehovah's people are no different. We also are easily trusting. Even with all the wisdom and warnings at the disposal of Jehovah's people, Jehovah said in Isaiah 9 verse 16.
Those leading this people are causing them to wander, and those who are being led are confused. And these also go astray because of wine. Their alcoholic beverages make them stagger. Priest and prophet go astray because of alcohol. The wine confuses them, and they stagger from their alcohol. Their vision makes them go astray, and they stumble in judgment, for their tables are full of filthy vomit. There is no place without it.
Hence treasuring Jehovah's saying requires us to be actively investigating and perceiving what the will of Jehovah is, otherwise you will end up eating filthy vomit, mistaking it as healthy spiritual food, just like the Israelites. In the 1st century, Paul commended the brothers in the congregation of Berean and said they were noble-minded, as opposed to brothers in Thessalonica, just because they were carefully examining the scriptures daily to see whether what the apostles are saying is indeed in harmony with the scriptures. This record is in Acts 17 verse 11, which reads,
Now the Berean Jews were of more noble character than those in Thessalonica, for they received the message with great eagerness and examined the scriptures every day to see if what Paul said was true.
A definition of examination is as follows.
Inspect someone or something thoroughly in order to determine their nature or condition. Test the knowledge or proficiency of someone by requiring them to answer questions or perform tasks.
The Thessalonian brothers, however, they were not noble-minded as the brothers in Berean. The Thessalonians were gullible, easily trusting and believing without verifying what their leaders such as Paul says. Here is an experiment to show how the Thessalonians were like in being gullible as opposed to the more noble-minded Bereans.
Would you take orders from Scott? Probably not.
Hey, is that blonde hair? Real blonde?
Yeah.
Real blonde? Okay, blonde's this way.
Why aren't they listening to me? But what if he looks like an authority figure? Would that make a difference? Let's try it.
Scott's in costume.
A green shirt and a goofy hat?
Hey, have some respect. It's a dumb hat.
Okay.
And now, he's ready.
For what?
For a little experiment about how easy it is to make people change course.
Here's what we did. We made some signs and set them up at Bow Bridge in Central Park.
Push the bottom in.
Scott threw on a Smokey the Bear hat. His earpiece is fake. His walkie-talkie isn't even turned on. And he enforced a bunch of rules that we made up. Would people do what Scott and some stupid signs told them to?
Left, please, blonde. The dog has to stay on this side.
Here we go. 2 blondes and a brunette walk onto our bridge.
Can you switch blondes? Left.
And they are self-sorting. It's working. They're obeying Scott and his pointless rules. Yep, they fell for it. All right, this guy with the brown hair has just unwittingly walked across the bridge on the wrong side.
Sorry, blondes on this side. Can you go back and cross on this side? Can you just cross over the rope there and come on this side, please?
Will he bow to authority and correct his mistake? Yep, he's bowing to authority. Think that you wouldn't do the same? Well, don't be so sure. This guy has walked back and all the way around. He obeyed Robert Cialdini's principle of social influence and authority, which states that people will obey orders from others who they assume are in positions of power.
Thank you. Sir, can I take off your hat? Brown?
I am actually brunette.
Great, thank you.
All right, but this isn't just a world of blondes and brunettes.
Strawberry blonde? You can cross this side.
So, Scott goes rogue.
I don't know what that is. A little reddish? This is like a red. Is this a red?
I'm trying to go right through you.
You have to swim. Redheads have to swim.
All right, this is going to get complicated. Here comes a package deal.
Is it brunette, brown hair, or blonde? Your baby has blonde hair?
He really has to look to see what color hair his kid has. He's nervous, clearly rattled by our authority figure.
Yeah. Okay, the baby has to stay here and you have to stay here. So let the baby come and walk this way?
We weren't really about to make the baby crawl in the right lane. We've proved our point. All right, so many people willingly sorted themselves by hair color. What if we enforced a height requirement to walk on one side of the bridge? Now they would have to allow Scott to physically measure them.
You must be this tall to cross the bridge. Sir, I believe you're a little taller than 5'6" there. Thank you. Should I take out the measuring stick? Yeah, you've got it.
Just longer.
You've got it.
Total strangers were letting Scott measure them just because they thought he had some kind of authority. Well, most of them.
I believe you're, well, actually, you know what? You're a little taller than 5'6". You can pass this side here.
Is this a joke?
Not a joke. No, it's for traffic flow today.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
Yes, She is questioning authority. She questioned, didn't like it, but she follows it. She still fell for it. She walked on the tall side of the bridge.
Below 5'6"? Yes.
I'm short.
It's okay, yeah, short. It's okay to be short. Short is beautiful. Oh, this is gonna be fun.
Uh-oh. We've got another baby approaching.
Yes, you're okay here? I'm afraid the baby's got to stay on this side. Hi, a little short here. To cross on the right here. You see the sign?
Of course babies don't listen to Scott. Scientists say they haven't yet been conditioned to respect authority. Parents say, duh.
It's okay, below 5'6", ma'am.
Oh, no, I'm 5'6".
Here's an interesting approach. She's cheating.
See?
It was 5'6" or bust. For some reason, she really wants to walk on the tall side of the bridge.
Close enough.
Now, this chap figured out that the guy in the green shirt with the plastic sign had no real authority.
What's the purpose of this?
Just traffic flow. We're trying to park, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Psychological test.
It might be rooted in psychological studies, but I just obey the orders.
He may have questioned authority, but he still let Scott measure him.
How are you?
Well, me, I should be 5'9".
Yeah, you're good.
The moral of our story, stand tall, stand proud, and the next time someone who looks like an authority figure asks you to do something ridiculous, speak up and say, I wouldn't fall for that.
Would you fall for that?
So the brothers of Berean, they did not just simply believe what Paul and Silas told them, they examined their words. And hence Paul commended them for doing that. We also should have the same mind of the brothers in Thessalonica. If we treasure the sayings of Jehovah, it should not matter whether Paul or anyone else is baptized with Holy Spirit or not. We should always test and perceive what the will of Jehovah is. Likewise, today in Jehovah's organization we should be commended in examining our organization literature and books as well. The governing body serves the same role that was played by Paul and the other apostles. Hence if Paul recommends that we do the following in Thessalonians 5 verse 21, make sure of all things, hold fast to what is fine, then we should make sure of everything ourselves. For me the Bible clearly says that we should test and examine what the governing body is giving us as spiritual food, to see if it is indeed from Jehovah. If what they say is good after I have examined it, then I shall hold on to it, otherwise, I should discard it. It is the same thing when Jesus Christ said to his disciples about the Pharisees. He said, beware the leaven of the Pharisees. If we do that, then we shall be continuing to perceive what the will of Jehovah is, and we shall be treasuring sayings of Jehovah. We should make the truth our own. Can we truly sing the following song and mean it?
No one can live your life for you.
Basically we're supposed to make the truth our own, instead of being spoon-fed the truth. Jesus Christ warned his disciples not to lord over things to their subjects like the people of the nations do. Hence we in Jehovah's organization have to be able to make the truth our own, and examine everything, reducing every word and saying, especially the saying that comes from our organization leadership, the governing body, to see if it is always in line with the word of Jehovah. Here is another beautiful song of ours.
There is a book that by its many pages brings peace and joy and hope to humankind. Its wondrous thoughts are charged with such great power. It brings life to the dead, sight to the blind. That precious book is God's own holy Bible. Its words were penned by men whom God inspired, by men who truly loved their God Jehovah, and by his Holy Spirit they were fired. He wrote a record true of God's creations, how by his light his universe appeared. They also told how man at first was sinless, but how his paradise then disappeared. They further told about a certain angel who challenged God and spurned his sovereignty. That challenge led to sin and man's great sorrow, but soon will come Jehovah's victory. Today we live in times of joy unbounded. God's kingdom now is here with Christ as Lord. This is the day Jehovah grants salvation to all who come to him in full accord. Within his book are found his cheerful tidings, a sacred banquet feast on which to feed. It offers peace beyond all human thinking. This living treasure beckons all to
In this series, I am obeying Jehovah's word in treasuring his sayings, and also Paul's recommendation to make sure of all things and examine what others says, to see it is in line with the Bible. If you feel that we as Jehovah's Witnesses should not examine what the governing body is giving us as spiritual food, then I guess this series is not for you. You are either a Berean brother who examine things, or you are Thessalonian and blindly follow the leadership without examination. But all examinations are in no way suggesting that we are not Jehovah's people. There is nowhere else we can find the true religion except this organization. Here is a brief content of this series entitled, Jehovah's Witnesses, a people called by his name. Episode 2 is entitled, Job's syndrome. This episode draws a similarity between Job and us Jehovah's Witnesses. Rather, Job is prophetic drama of us Jehovah's Witnesses. It seeks to explain that we also have the same mental attitude exhibited by Job as far as his relationship with Jehovah. Episode 3 is entitled, "It Was a Case of Seeing Many Things." This episode highlights the fact that we as Jehovah's people are blind. It should be expected that we are blind. In no way our blindness indicates that we are a false religion, but rather that we are Jehovah's people, as the prophets foretold. Episode 4 is entitled, "In the Days of Gibeah." This episode seeks to address the current issue of sexual abuse cases that we are experiencing as Jehovah's organization. Jehovah already prophesied about us from long ago. We are fulfilling Jehovah's prophecies and he shall judge us for it. Episode 5 is entitled, "Whoever Stumble One of These Little Ones." This episode is a continuation of episode 4, in discussing the child sex abuse in the organization. Episode 6 is entitled, "He Catches the Wise in Their Own Craft." Part 1 and 2. Also, this episode is a continuation of the child sex abuse scandal, but focusing on what we have said in our own Watchtower and Awake articles on the subject matter. We have issued our own judgments against the Roman Catholic Church on their own child sex abuse scandals. Episode 7 is entitled, "Do Not Search for Bethel." This episode seeks to address the issue that Jehovah's organization has been infiltrated by Satan and that we are in danger of being misled by Satan from within, than from outside. Episode 8 is entitled, "Woe to the Shepherds of Israel." Every elder in our local congregations are responsible for Jehovah's sheep, and elders shall receive a heavier judgment from Jehovah, because more is expected from them, from the least all the way to the governing body members. Much that is given, more shall be demanded. Episode 9 is entitled, "The Partition Wall." This episode tries to highlight the lie that emanates from Bethel since we have been infiltrated by Satan. Episode 10 is entitled, "A People Called by His Name." This episode puts it all together and the reasons why things are the way they are, and that there is no one who can fix our problems with the exception of Jesus Christ, and what to expect when that happens so that our faith is not washed away with the organization but stay true and loyal to Jehovah.
I thank you for watching.